What's going on, everybody? I'm Patrick Chapla, founder of POWLAX and creator of POWLAX Master Coach. And in this video, I have an absolutely amazing play to share with you guys that you can use in a ton of different in-game scenarios, like running it as a set play off of an end line. You can run it as a part of your overall motion concepts in a 2-3-1 offense. And you can also run it as your slow break transition set when you are trying to push in transition. And it's called Duke. So one of the things that I often struggle with is that I want my players to be able to initiate the offense from anywhere. And I am very much so midfield based, where a lot of my motions are generated and initiated by the midfielders. And that can sometimes take away from some of the playmaking ability of our attackmen. And so Duke is a really awesome way to allow attackmen to, dodge to the goal with force, create rotations, and actually set up midfielders into their overall motion set, so that once we finish this Duke play, if we bang it up to the midfielders, they'll be able to swing the ball over and attack within their motion concepts. We're going to go over the Duke motion in 4 main points. First, we're going to cover exactly what the basic motions are that contribute to this overall Duke motion and the strategy involved. Second, we're going to cover what players should be looking for depending on what a defense gives them in a game. Third, we are going to go over how to integrate this into specific parts of our game, whether it's off of an end line, in our motion offense, or in transition. And then fourth, we're going to show you exactly how we like to train this motion into our teams so that we can be successful in game time. So let's get started. The Duke motion is a motion designed by the Duke Blue Devils coaching staff that works within their offensive transition slow break pattern, as well as their overall motion offense. We will show you exactly how to integrate it a little later, but first let's cover the basics. The Duke motion is initiated out of a 2-3-1 by a dodge from A3, the attackman at X. The two motions at play are what we like to call the Charlie attack motion, which consists of a dodge, clear through, and a follow, and a backside exchange midfield rotation, which consists of a pop, cut the middle, and a float. In our example, the Charlie motion will begin with A3 dodging from X. He can choose to go to his left or his right, and the direction he dodges will determine what everyone else does. Within the Charlie motion, if he dodges to his left, A1 will clear through to the crease, and A2 will follow behind to X. If he dodges to his right, A2 will clear through, and A1 will follow to X. The backside exchange midfield rotation will also depend on the direction of A3's dodge. If he dodges to his right, M3 will float out to top left, M1 will cut the middle, and M2 will pop to the sideline as an outlet. If he dodges to his left, M3 will float out to top right, M2 will cut the middle, and M1 will pop to the sideline as an outlet. So bringing the entire motion together, if A3 dodges to his right, A2 will clear through to the crease, A1 will follow to X, M1 will cut the middle, M3 will float to top left, and M2 will pop to the sideline as an outlet. Here's the whole thing all at once. If A3 dodges to his left, A1 will clear through to the crease, A2 will follow to X, M2 will cut the middle, M3 will float to top right, and M1 will pop to the sideline as an outlet. A basic way that your players can understand this is that the attacker just running their general circle Charlie motion. The midfielders just need to know that the player on the crease and the player who is farthest away from the dodge need to change places. Now let's go over some of the strategy behind these motions. As we look into the strategy, we find 3 distinct items. First, A3 is always going to have an outlet to throw forwards or backwards. This is important because for the most part, we will often be trying to draw, slide, and swing the ball to the midfielder floating off the crease. Second, we always have 2 cutters, the attackman clearing through and the midfielder cutting the middle. Third, this motion puts us into a position to easily run Duke again by throwing back to the attackman at X, or get right into a motion initiated by the midfielders by throwing it up top and over to the other midfielder. Now let's see how all of this works and look at what our players will be trying to find. To do that, we will be going over Duke in 3 parts. First are the initial looks that Duke actually produces. Then we will be going over the final 2 options that the dodging attackman has, which are throwing back to the attackman at X or throwing forward to the midi who is popping. We will be going over the looks for when A3 dodges to his right, but the looks are the exact same on the left side as well. As A3 dodges, his ultimate goal is to turn the corner and score a goal, but he will not have that option first and therefore needs to dodge hard to the goal with his head up looking for these options. His first look will be to feed A2 as he clears through. Therefore, A2 must clear through with his stick up, ready to catch and finish. His next look will be into M1, cutting the middle. If neither of these options is open, he needs to make sure that he does one of these three things to be successful. First is turn the corner and score a goal. If he can get upfield and score here, he should definitely do it, whether it's by turning the corner or the second thing, which is getting to the island. Getting to the island means getting to the location that is 5 to 7 yards above the goal and 5 to 7 yards out from the ball side pipe. By doing this, he will put a lot of pressure on the defense and get into another position where he can get a good shot off. The third thing he can do to be successful is drawing a slide. If he tries to turn the corner and tries to get to the island, he should draw a slide. Once he draws a slide, he should move the ball. The direction he moves the ball can have a lot to do with where the slide is going to come from. The most common places that the other team will slide from this scenario are coma, which is across the goal where D1 will slide off of A1, and the next is from the crease where defensive midi 1 will slide off of M3. We aren't going to cover the adjacent slide with D2 sliding off of A2 in depth because if this happens, A3 will do his best to hit A2, who will have a great finishing opportunity. And if the crease man fills to cover A2, we will have the exact same reads as a crease slide. The first slide package we will see is a coma slide. In the event that D1 coma slides, A3's read will be to get out with his hands and throw back to A1, who is now uncovered. On the throwback, as a coach, we have some different options. We can run the Duke motion again, or you can run Duke as a set play where the midfielders will stay in their positions and A3 will just have to follow back to X. So we won't actively rotate in our Duke motion again. Running Duke again can be pretty tricky, but if your players can handle running two motions back to back, it puts a lot of strain on the defense by having to slide, recover, and then possibly slide and recover again. Either way, the looks will be very similar. But here we will cover Duke as a single set play. As A1 catches the ball, he should dodge hard to his left trying to turn the corner or get to the island and score a goal. As he dodges, the defense will be rotating and will hopefully leave somebody open as they rotate. If defensive midi 1 slides here, M3 should be open on his float and be prepared for a step down. If defensive midi 2 slides, M1 will be open on the crease, and if D2 slides, A2 should be open on the crease. These reads are all general ideas, but the main thing is that as A1 dodges to his left looking to score, he has his eyes up and is watching to see if anyone comes open. If A1 doesn't see anything that he likes and he does his best to try to turn the corner and get to the island, his next option is just to step away and pass up to M3 or back to A3 so that they can evaluate exactly what to do next and we can continue with our motion offense. Now we're going to check out the reads if a crease man slides. If the crease man or defensive midi 1 slides in our initial Duke motion, we will be freeing up M3 as he floats off the crease to the opposite side. So A3's look here is to step away with his hands and pass up to M2, who will swing the ball to M3. Once M3 catches the ball, he should be dodging a defenseman that is recovering through the defense, which should give us a great opportunity to score off of his dodge. This also puts us in a great position to get right into our other midfield initiated motions like a dodge follow float or dodge pop fade without needing to rotate any attackmen because they have already been rotated to the crease, back left, and back right. Now that we know exactly what we're looking for within this Duke motion, let's talk about exactly where we're going to put this into a game. The first and easiest place that we can put this into our team strategy is off of an end line. After a shot that misses cage, we get the backup. It's pretty easy for players to take those 5-6 seconds to understand, okay, off of an end line, we're going to run Duke, and it's going to set us up into our next midfield motion or to run Duke again. It's a really easy way for players to understand, okay, if the ball goes out on an end line, we get it, we're going to run Duke. The second place, and this is the place that I really think a lot of teams should use it more often, is within a slow break pattern where we're going to throw the ball down the side to the attackman, and the attackman that catches it at X is going to dodge hard. And the midfield rotations are a little bit different, but it pretty much just goes like this. The first midfielder in cuts the middle and then pops when the second midfielder cuts, and then the third midfielder is going to come to whichever side the ball is being dodged by the attackman at X. And this is going to do a couple different things. First, it's going to get defensemen to turn their heads and not be able to see middies who are cutting down behind them. The second thing is we're going to be moving a ton as a defense is trying to match up and should create some openings. So the third place that we want to put this into our team strategy is just in our overall offensive concept. So as we control the ball on offense and we're swinging the ball around, we can always have the ability to dodge from X while we're just in our general set without having it go out on an end line. The last part of this video we're going to go over is exactly how we like to integrate this into our teams with our training. And so the very first thing that we're going to want to do is compartmentalize our motion. So we've got two motions in order. We've got our Charlie attack motion and we've got our backside exchange midfield rotation. And so the first thing we're going to want to make sure we do is get our Charlie attack motion in order. And the way that we like to do it is we like to run our 3v0, 3v2, and 3v3 Charlie attack motion drills so that they can really get a handle on exactly what they're doing, you know, dodging hard, getting to the island, maybe feeding the guy who's clearing through, and making sure that they can roll back and hit the guy at X. The second thing we want to do is get our midfield motion in order. And the easiest way to do that, to get a midfield rotation to work with an attackman dodging his X, is running 4-on-0, 4v3, and 4v4 Y drill, where the midfielders will set up in their rotations. You'll have one attackman at X and he will be dodging, and then the midfielders can rotate as the attackman dodges. And so once that is done, I like to make sure that our players really understand it by running 6-on-0 skeleton offense so that they can see all of the parts moving together before we move into maybe a 6-on-5 or a 6-on-6 set where we are actively, you know, going as hard as we can within this new motion. The last way that I like to train it, and this is for our transition sets, is that we like to run the 3/4 transition drill, and we drill this over and over again so that our players understand that we want to get the ball to X, we want to dodge quickly when there are no slides ready, and that we really want to push fast in transition. I hope that you enjoyed this video of the Duke offensive motion or set. Email me at patrick@powlax.com with any comments, suggestions, or questions. If you guys want to learn more, check out all the other videos at powlaxmastercoach.com. If you like this video, make sure to share it. Have a great week. I'll see you in the next video.